Hello! Today on Genna's sit-down videos, not vlogs, we will be discussing the Haitian Revolution. The Haitian Revolution was done in two separate phases, but first, some background information. The island produced 40% of Europe's sugar, 60% of its coffee, and had many slaves. This made it the most valuable colony in the West Indies. The colonial society in Saint Domingue was divided in four groups which played their own part in the revolution. The first group was the Grands Blancs, who owned the plantations and slaves. Next were the Free Blacks, who served in the militia or the local constabulary and eventually could own plantations and slaves for themselves. Third were the Petits Blancs, who worked as artisans and laborers. Lastly were the slaves, who worked and lived in brutal conditions. After the French Revolution, all four groups had something to complain about. Le Grand Blanc didn't like not having a big enough say in the government. The Free Blacks were still treated poorly even though they were rich. Le Petits Blancs didn't like the fact that there were Free Blacks who had more money than them. And lastly, the slaves, who were obviously upset because of the terrible working conditions they had to endure. Trouble started when the slaves heard a rumor that the King of France had freed them. The Doremak gave free people of color and slaves hope. Then the National Assembly gave French citizenship to all free men of color. Later, a huge slave revolt broke out. One of the revolt leaders was Toussaint Breda, who later had the name Toussaint Louverture. Louverture helped form an army of slaves that could withstand attacks from French troops. Then, the British, who were currently at war with France, decided to invade Saint Domingue, and because French military officers knew they couldn't fight everyone, including the slaves, they just decided to let the slaves free. Louverture eventually steered the colony towards independence. Things were going pretty well, except for the fact that they were still technically a part of France, which meant they were about to be ruled by Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon wanted to reintroduce slavery to Saint Domingue, which started the second phase of the Haitian Revolution, the fight for independence. The former slaves started to fight. They started a guerrilla war that France had no chance of winning. Napoleon eventually gave up and pulled his remaining troops out of Saint Domingue. Then Jacques Dessalines, who had defeated the French, declared the island of Saint Domingue independent and renamed it Haiti. The Haitian Revolution actually accomplished something, ending slavery, opposed to the French Revolution, where they ended up exactly where they started, with an absolute monarch. Their economies were also polar opposites. The French were in debt and Haiti's economy was thriving. Both revolutions were also inspired by enlightened ideas. You could consider the Haitian Revolution a success because of their success in freeing slaves and gaining independence from France. You could also consider it a failure if you look at Haiti's situation today. They went from one of the most valuable places to one of the poorest countries in the Americas. Well, that looks like all the time we have for today. I would like to personally thank you on behalf of my very large crew for tuning in today. See you next time on Genna's sit-down videos, not vlogs.